a line in the sky from spraying multiple times. This is just over my head. You know they're doing it in a lot of other places. And I don't know if you can see this, but there is collars illuminating from this spray. Do you see it? What causes collars? Let's see, maybe aluminum and other metals. So, and that's really a shame. I'm just so freaking pissed off at these idiots. That's not good. Nope. And you can barely see now. His colors are gone, so not good. Not good for anybody. Look at it. This is just right over. I can hear jets in the distance. So, what a nice windy day to spray. You know, they always tell farmers, don't spray, it's too windy, you'll have overspray. Yes, those trails in the sky are made from planes. It's not the exhaust of a plane. That's ridiculous. I've looked up before and seen planes way up there. Nothing. And then I actually seen just a regular plane, had no markings on it. I looked for binoculars. It was spraying like crazy. They were spraying a grid over where I'm at, where I was at when I looked at it. And I mean by a grid, I mean it's straight lines and then it goes the other way. And then not long after that, it would get real cloudy and it would rain shortly after. Shortly after, it might be that evening or that night. But that is ridiculous for nobody to actually believe that the government would never do such a thing. They've been doing weather manipulation for over 80 years. And I'll show you a video that shows the local news telling you that. It's been told. Everybody either forgot or dismissed it. I'll tell you a real quick story too. We're sitting out here at my porch of my house, late evening. It was pretty much dark. And this real silent plane goes flying overhead, and it wasn't very high. And it had white flashing lights behind. And it was spraying something because you could just see it. And then we were out there not too long after that. We started smelling, it smelled like urine. We quickly got in the house and locked everything up. No, they wouldn't do something like that. Have you ever heard of Agent Orange? They sprayed it on their own soldiers just to see what it would do long term, I guess. And they're still using it to this day. And I truly believe that might have been, if anybody's ever been around Agent Orange, please leave a comment and let me know if you smelt it and what it smelled like. I could not verify, but I definitely could tell you the experience that I have where it was a silent plane. I mean, it was low. It wasn't a small plane. It was like a mid-sized plane. It was like, it was almost like the size of a jet. What it was, I don't know. But what I do know is it was definitely spraying at night. Went right overhead. We could just, because it was, as we were sitting on the porch, it came out from underneath the awning, and we're sitting there looking at it. We're like, what the hell was that? One of those. And it wasn't long after that, we started smelling urine and just an odor, like something like similar to urine. And then I was like, let's get in quickly. So, yeah, believe it or not. But let me show you this where the local news is actually telling you that they are doing it, even though if you look online, it's really hard to find anything about it. And that's usually when they're doing something bad and they don't want you to know about it. That's exactly what happens. Now, I want to say one thing. This video has been put out 3 months ago. I've looked back and seen videos that are 14 years old, 15 years old, and they're like making fun of it. Um, it's been out for a long time. Just like they say UFOs. Long time of everybody knowing that, right? Nah, there's no such thing. Yeah, think twice. Jeez.
Chemtrails and contrails. Do you know the difference? Do you even know what they are? The terms are often interchanged. Erroneously, they are not the same. And some keyboard warriors combine the streaks in the sky with weather modification, sparking controversy and conspiracy theories. Now a new bill is being introduced to ban such modifications that release substances into the atmosphere.
Chief Transportation Correspondent and pilot May-Kay Beeler fills us in on the latest lawmaker aiming to make weather manipulation a crime. May-Kay?
Yeah, so in late June, Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis signed a law that prohibits the injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals or substances into the atmosphere for the purpose of altering weather, temperature, climate, or sunlight intensity. And now Georgia's Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is following suit. She is introducing a similar bill with the exact same language, making geoengineering and weather modification a federal felony. She says we must end the dangerous and deadly practice of weather modification and geoengineering. She wrote that regarding the proposed bill in a post on X. This would outlaw cloud seeding. That's a method to trigger rain or snow. It's been in use for 80 years. Proponents see cloud seeding as a way to put more water in streams, rivers, and reservoirs. Opponents see it as an aggressive practice that could be unethically used to cause floods or weather disasters to purposely harm people. And then there are the chemtrail theorists.
Ooh, all right, we're unpacking a lot here, May-Kay. Chemtrails. What are those? What is that?
I'm going to try to explain it as a flight instructor so everyone understands it simply. To understand chemtrails, which scientists say have zero evidence, we need to review contrails, which are just natural byproducts of jet engines. You know, those white streaks across the sky, the line-shaped clouds, they're made by aircraft engine exhaust. Well, short for condensation trails, it's a trail of condensed water from a plane or a rocket at high altitude. It's formed when water vapor from hot jet engine exhaust condenses and freezes in the cold atmosphere. Now, this is important. How long they last depends on how dry or humid the air is. But conspiracy theorists believe the ones that linger are actually chemtrails, meaning they contain and emit toxic chemicals or poisons the government allegedly deliberately put in jet fuel, polluting the air to harm the public. Now, while there's no evidence to prove this, officials like U.S. Health Secretary RFK Jr. claims the Department of Defense is allegedly behind the spraying of these harmful chemicals for nefarious purposes. Now, if the weather modification bill passes, cloud seeding, a very popular and necessary weather altering technique, could become a thing of the past.
Okay, so obviously none of us are scientists. The good news for all of us, we do have a scientist on staff. Meteorologist Brandon Lawson is going to join us now to explain the science behind it and how it all works. Brandon, make us all smarter.
Yeah, so I like to compare cloud seeding to jump-starting a car. You know, we are just using the battery that's already there to give that battery juice and start the car. We're not creating a whole new battery. With cloud seeding, we're just using a cloud or a thunderstorm that's already there to speed up the process in either creating more rain or helping that cloud create rain in general. So this is a cloud picture I took yesterday. This is made up of a bunch of tiny water droplets or ice crystals that give us that cloud visible illusion there. And when you're warming the air or the atmosphere from the sun, you're allowing the air to rise, and that air rises and it cools, and those water vapor molecules, they cool and condense onto dust or particles in the atmosphere. If we didn't have any air pollution at all in the sky, we would never have clouds and we would never have rain. You need what's called condensation nuclei. Again, that's the dust particles that can form from wildfire smoke, that can form from pollen, volcanic eruptions, things like that. And you get enough cloud droplets forming around that nuclei, and you get the water droplets to form in the sky, and that's how we get our clouds. Now, cloud seeding is just adding more particles to the atmosphere to try and create more rain. And it doesn't have to be anything that hard. I mean, we've seen folks use dry ice, salt, literally table salt can be used to help create cloud seeding and more rain. Silver iodide is the most commonly used agent to help with this, but clouds have to be present. We can't create thunderstorms. We can't create clouds. Clouds already have to be there. We have to have the thunderstorm clouds present to fly through or fly under or even shoot the cannons of silver iodide and salt into them. And this isn't new. It was created in the 1940s. It was used in the Vietnam War, believe it or not, to flood out enemies. It was used in China in order to rain out clouds before they got to the Olympics. So this isn't a new thing. This has been around for several years. You just have to have the right cloud. We need a thunderstorm cloud. So let's go inside the cloud, show you what's happening with the cloud seeding process. So you have super cooled water droplets within the cloud here. Water droplets that are below freezing, but they're not frozen. They're still in their liquid form. What ends up happening is, let's just take the plane, for example. It flies through the cloud, and it brings that silver iodide in the cloud. That silver iodide is going to act as that condensation nuclei. Essentially, that nuclei the water droplets are going to be able to coalesce to or combine with. And eventually, the water droplets, the supercooled droplets, connect with that silver iodide, and that's going to form your ice or snow. And eventually, this process continues to repeat to where the snow and ice gets heavy enough, gravity takes over, and it allows the snow or ice to fall out of the sky as precipitation.
Queen City View.
Okay, so let me debunk something right here from the weather guy. Is a liar. We wouldn't have any clouds if it wasn't for pollution. Did he ever hear of the oceans, the lakes and oceans that put off tons of moisture? That's where the clouds come from, not from pollution. So why is he trying to undermine like it's a joke, right? I mean, you got to be an idiot to follow that kind of crap where if we didn't have pollution, we wouldn't have any clouds. And if we didn't have clouds, it wouldn't rain. God made water, lakes, oceans. This system that creates clouds is what God has created on our earth long before we came along. So, yeah, he's an idiot. And remember, 80 years ago, they said that they started manipulating weather. So, yeah, the government wouldn't advance that to anything other than that, correct? I mean, they were spraying in Vietnam Agent Orange over their enemies, but they were also spraying our own military. That's what we're talking about. They would never do that either, would they? And then here's a big one. They said scientists say there's no evidence of this. What science are you following? Because these are the stupidest scientists I've ever heard of. Your eyes will tell you everything. You know what they always tell you? Don't believe anything you're told and only believe 50% what you see. Man, has that come true. But I do like the video at the beginning because they're actually telling you some truths. And then they start putting in false stuff. I mean, can you believe the weather guy should be fired, man? I mean, you know what? I always said the weather guy sucks. He always gets the weather wrong. Well, look what he did. He lied right in your face. If we didn't have pollution, we wouldn't have any clouds, and then we wouldn't have any rain. Oh, boy. We got some dumb people leading this country, mostly the media. But I like that they expose themselves. Hey, subscribe. Love you guys. Leave a comment. And like I said before, if anybody's ever smelt, if a plane went over, and even if you didn't notice the plane, because most people do not look up in the air, which you should, Because, you know, these planes that are flying overhead are making grids. Not every time. It depends on what they're doing. They're not doing the same thing every time, so therefore they have different methods. But if anybody's ever smelt urine in the air, leave a comment, because I have a feeling that I'm correct on this. Love ya.